It's the most wonderful time of the year. No, it's not Christmas. It's Valentine's Day, which means it is time for the annual love and dating Q&A that I do on my channel. This is another part of my Girl Talk series, so make sure that you check out all of the previous parts that I've done if you haven't already. I went ahead on Instagram and asked you guys to send me your juiciest dating dilemmas, and my goodness, do they not just keep getting juicier with every episode I do in this series? I cannot wait to get through these. We also have a chapter in this video of some actual really good dating advice. Because this is Valentine's Day, this installment of the Too Much Information Girl Talk series is going to be all about love and dating rather than self-care, periods, and all of the other stuff we usually talk about. So grab your popcorn and grab some tea because I am about to spill it. Before we get into it, remember that I have a second YouTube channel where you guys can check out my daily routines, my vlogs. I also have a podcast with exclusive self-development content. It's called Self-Obsessed and it's available on all platforms. Make sure you also check out my Instagram and TikTok. Everything is linked in the description. And that brings us to chapter number 1, answering all of your juicy dating dilemmas. I have my laptop here with all of your questions written. Number 1, I promised myself not to date in 2024, but here I am attached to a boy. We have all been there, okay? I have had my own personal experience with this. I know exactly what you're going through. For those of you who have been here for a while, then you guys know that I took a whole year out of my life to not talk to any boys, not go on any dates, just really focus on my self-love, date myself, grow my self-worth. But it took me a long time to get there. I had to make a bet with myself that I bet you can't stay single and not talk to a guy for a whole year because you're so weak and you barely have any self-worth or confidence without being attached to a guy. You couldn't last that long. That is how harsh my bet to myself was. And so I was constantly haunted by the potential thought that if I give in to my temptations, I'm literally gonna feel embarrassed at the thought of myself that I actually lost that competition to myself, that I was that weak that I couldn't just stay in my own company for 1 year out of my life. Like, ew. I knew that it was gonna be a difficult journey, so then I changed my lifestyle accordingly to make it easier for myself so I wouldn't get attached to someone, I wouldn't have a brand new crush. So I stopped going out all the time clubbing, I stopped going to house parties, I was ignoring all of the DMs I got. If a friend of a friend said that he was interested in me, or if a guy asked for my number out and about, I would say no. You can't just make a promise to yourself, you have to make it difficult for you to continue that lifestyle that is no longer serving you. So you need to identify as the type of person who loves to spend time on her own. Why would she want to be with a guy when she's working on herself and she loves every single second of it? And as a result, you need to shift your lifestyle into a brand new era. So you need to start doing different things, because if you are still in the same routine, living in the exact same way, and then this one little piece of your regular lifestyle isn't there anymore, of course it's gonna feel unfamiliar. Of course you're gonna be uncomfortable and you're gonna feel like something is missing. But if you change your lifestyle and if you're like, okay, now instead I'm gonna start spending my weekends going on solo dates. I'm gonna start spending my evenings journaling instead of scrolling on social media. I'm gonna watch different kind of content. Guys, on my self-love, yeah, I stopped watching romance movies. I'm not joking you. Like, I took it that seriously. I also on Twitter muted the words love, dating, relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend. I know it's so extreme, but it got me through it. I did it in the end, didn't I? Why do I want a boyfriend but also not want a relationship? Avoidant attachment. Avoidant attachment. And I know this because I was the same, and it was the harshest slap of reality in my life. Before I continue though, it can be a sign of hyper independence or wounded feminine energy, where your body and your heart is trying to tell you that you want a relationship, you like the idea of it, but you're not allowing yourself to have that experience because you might not trust yourself, you might have past relationship wounds, you might think that you can only either be successful and have a career or be in a relationship and you can't have both, which is absolutely false. I used to believe the same. I now have both. You can have it all, ladies. For me, it was really my avoidant attachment style that was holding me back, which is when you like to flirt and you like the attention, you like the process of going on dates, but you kind of have this block in your head when it comes to committing to a relationship. So I read the book Attached by Dr. Amir Levine, changed my life. I've put so many of my friends onto it, changed their life. It will help you shift to a secure attachment style. If you don't want to buy the book, I have an entire video on my main channel on how to shift your attachment style, and it will just help you be able to approach relationships in a much more healthier mindset, because honestly, they are such an integral part to a happy life. It's not the key to happiness, but it will help you in so many ways. It helps you discover new parts of yourself. It helps you grow as a person. Everybody deserves to be in love. And yes, you should work on yourself first, but you shouldn't completely hold off that area of your life to yourself. You deserve that too. Sometimes we desire to have a boyfriend, but we fear the concept of being in a relationship, maybe because of the relationships that have been modeled to us in our childhood, you know, maybe watching our parents, hearing too much in the media as as well. Like, this celebrity's cheating on them, these people are getting a divorce. Like, it gets a lot, right? Especially with so many people being vocal about this man did this and I got manipulated on my first date and I wasted years of my life. I get it. But like, you also need to shift your consumption. I follow so many couples online who post couple content and lessons they've learned in making their relationship easier. And it really shifted my perspective of relationships to help me get more on board with it. Oh, next up, what to do when he puts his friends first. Ask him if he's gay. No, really, ask him. Because what do you mean you like me and you want to be with me, but you don't want to act like it? Seems like you're a liar to me. It's like those guys who are like, oh yeah, like I want a girl, but I'm just not into the romantic stuff, and why would I buy a girl flowers, and I'm not gonna send her cute texts. So you basically don't want to be a boyfriend. You don't want to be the kind of guy who has a girlfriend and then has to do girlfriend things to keep her. You sure you really want a girlfriend? Because it really is not seeming like it. Listen to me, a man should be so intentional about wanting to make you happy every single day, and the first like foundational step to that is communication and attention. Bare minimum. And I really learned the importance of this when I met my boyfriend, because he puts me first every day. We met 3 years ago and he still acts like he's trying to get me, and every single woman deserves that. And there are so many men out there that will treat you like that. You know why? Because you will be their dream girl. And if a man can't even make you a priority in his life, you think that he would be doing that to his dream girl when there's a consequence that he could lose her? Are you even giving him the consequence that he would lose you? Or are you just accepting how he's tolerating you? Meaning, of course, he's going to continue his bad behavior because he's got you on lock and he doesn't have to do anything to earn you. So my advice would be communicate your need, because jokes aside, like, you do not know what someone's going through. Maybe he's just completely unaware of it. Okay, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I feel like I'm gonna be nice today. And then we're going to assess his actions. I don't care what he says, okay? And you shouldn't care what he says. If he's like, oh my God, no, I so care about you. Yes, I'll do it. But is he actually gonna do it? I want you to see if his actions are gonna change, if he's going to make up for the fact that you have been feeling like second place for so long, and he's really gonna put in the time and effort to give you princess treatment. And if his actions align and they stay consistent, happy days. And if they don't, you need to leave and you need to put yourself first. And there are certain people that would tell you to play games, you know, like, oh, if he calls, like, don't pick up, or you go out with your friends and act like you're busy and then he'll learn his lesson. No, that's literally pathetic, because you shouldn't have to manipulate someone into treating you right. Next up, someone said, why are some women so obsessed with men they're not even that interesting? I used to be one of those women, okay? Ouch! And as a former member of that club, I can give you the answer. The reason some women are so obsessed with men is because they crave male validation. They need this male approval to feel beautiful and worthy and accepted and desirable, because they haven't told themselves that yet. Obsession with men, or truly anyone but yourself for that matter, really just stems from deep insecurity and a disconnect to yourself. And truly the overarching cause of this is trying to seek external validation. And the way that I overcame this was by taking men off the pedestal and putting myself on it. Because honey, you're absolutely right, men aren't all that. And as soon as I realized that, my behavior completely shifted. I realized that I was the prize, and then I started acting like it. I realized that I am confident, I am beautiful, and I decide that, and it doesn't matter what you say, because I'm always gonna believe that. The biggest way I achieved this did link back to my self-love year and just taking an entire detox from men, because when you're constantly around them, when you're going partying, when you're talking to them, when you're listening how they talk about women, what they want women to do, what their preferred behavior from women are, it seeps into your brain, and then you try to alter your behavior to become more appealing to men. I took myself out of that environment, and I had that self-love year, and all I ever really had was my own company. And then the only person that I could impress was myself. And then the most important opinion was my own. And then the only validation I needed became my own. Round of applause, please. When you decide what your self-worth is, you stop letting others decide it for you. Our next dilemma. I feel like I am disturbing him when I am affectionate. Is my relationship toxic? He doesn't like you. I'm so sorry. He does not like you. And there is no other explanation. He might have an avoidant attachment style. He might be emotionally unavailable. This might be his first relationship, and he might be a little bit uncomfortable expressing his feelings. But do you think he would do that with his dream girl? Because here's the thing. When a man truly understands your value and they truly love and just adore you, even if they have all of these demons holding them back, their attachment style and their comfort with affection and their relationship to that, they work on it to make sure that they can keep you in their lives. If you feel like you're an inconvenience to him for even a second, then you need to do him the inconvenience of making sure he never gets access to you ever again. Your man should be excited to get attention and affection from you and just be around you, and vice versa. Honestly, sometimes men just date you for convenience, and I had had someone do that to me as well. In the end, I actually figured out he was emotionally unavailable, and at the time I didn't even know what that meant. And what really helped me was go onto Google, type in signs of an emotionally unavailable person. Like literally click on the first article that comes up. It will explain to you why people are emotionally unavailable, what the behavior looks like, so then you'll be able to see if this guy has it. And just reading it will allow you to see what your relationship looks like from an objective point of view, because sometimes you're so in it and you're so immersed in it, you can't see the bad behavior fully. And when you're reading like the textbook definition of his issues, you're gonna be like, oh my God, like you're actually gonna get the ick, because that's what I did. Also, you're gonna stop taking it so personally. When I realized the person I was dating, it wasn't about me. It wasn't that I wasn't good enough. It was that he didn't have the capability to show up for me like that. And that's fine, but it's not my responsibility to fix you. How to deal with boys that are fine as F. Easy. Get the ick from their behavior. When I was in school, I used to crush on the hottest, like popular guys all the time. And deep down, I knew they were for boys. I knew they weren't boyfriend material. I knew they were gonna take me on a date, but I still crushed on them because, wow, like you're so handsome, right? But in the last few years, now I'm like, but you wouldn't even treat me right. Ew. But you wouldn't even be able to give me princess treatment. Ew. But you can't even commit to one girl. Disgusting. Because here's the thing, you can get a fine as F man who also gives you princess treatment, who also treats you right, who also wants to be a boyfriend and does all the boyfriend duties and is loyal and communicates. So really, if you think about it, these boys with nice faces don't even have the full package, and they're overcompensating by balancing all of these girls at once and ghosting them and breadcrumbing them to overcompensate and boost their ego. Is that not just an ick for you? Can you see through it now? Why do I keep attracting narcissistic men? It's probably because you're a people pleaser. Because the same thing happened to me. I was in a relationship with a narcissistic man for a whole year and a half because I had no boundaries, I had no self-worth, I was still seeking male validation, and I was a people pleaser. That is a narcissist's favorite thing. They seek out those types of people. A narcissist could find a woman so attractive and so appealing and so charming, but he won't go for her because he understands that she's gonna see right through him, set her boundary, and cut him off. So they can see right through the kind of girl who's going to try and fix you and be nice to you and be like, oh my God, don't worry and we'll work through it, but I just love you, I'll stay with you no matter what. And they know they can take advantage of you and waste all your time and suck up all the affection that they need, but then also leave you and drain you whenever it suits them. Narcissists and empaths are like magnets to each other, because an empath doesn't have the boundaries and they want to fix other people because they have these people pleaser tendencies, maybe wounds from childhood. Narcissists need someone who's going to give them all of this love and affection that they clearly didn't get when they were younger, which is why now they are narcissists, and is going to put up with all of their bad behavior, validate them, and boost their ego. And the way to stop attracting these types of people into your life is to first, I would say, educate yourself on narcissism. I did a lot of just Google research on it. There are books you can read. Secondly, work on yourself. When you start spending time with yourself, figuring out what your worth is, writing out your list of standards, you will be able to spot the signs from a mile away. And if a narcissist is starting to F with you or act like they're on the pedestal and you're not, and they're not doing the most to get your attention and to give you princess treatment, you're gonna notice that like that, and you're gonna cut them off. You're not gonna put up with that and try and fix them and allow them to cross over your boundaries, because you know at the end of the day, I'm good being single. Like, I don't actually need you. What to do when he loves you, but he hates his ex and is still trying to forget her? Oh honey, he still loves his ex. Because here's the thing, the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. Hate is just a wounded form of love. And if you know he hates her, that means he's being expressive and vocal about the fact that he hates her. First of all, why is he still talking about her? Why is he still trying to forget her, but he's telling you he loves you? This is a very scary man. I am afraid. I am petrified. How do I deal with his friends disliking me after the breakup? Be okay with being the villain in their story. I went through this time and time again, and I used to feel so hurt and like it was a personal attack, and I've just learned it's okay. It's actually very understandable that they're turning against you and they're disliking you. Not because you're a bad person, not because you're in the wrong, but because that is their friend. They need to comfort their friend. And that's okay. They gotta do what's right for them. They gotta fix their friendship, help him heal, help them all come together again. And you need to take this as a lesson that from now on, of course, you should put effort in with your partner's friends, but they are never gonna be your friends. They're never gonna be your friends. I don't care if you guys get married. Do not put all of your eggs in that basket. Make sure you have a life outside of your partner. People have to create their own narrative to make themselves feel better about the situation, and chances are the guy always does this when you break up with him. He feeds the narrative that he's created in his head to make himself feel better so that he can be a victim and he doesn't have to own up to his actions or the true cases of why you guys broke up. He feeds that twisted narrative to the friends, and of course they're going to believe him. You know your character, so why do you need to prove it to anybody? Let them dislike you. I'm having so much fun right now. Okay, next up. How to stay unbothered when the boyf doesn't do things the way I want it. Be so bothered. Be so bothered, because why are you voluntarily suffering by allowing things to happen in the way that you don't want them to? Why are you tolerating how someone is choosing to treat you, even though it goes against your standards, and then not communicating what you want and being intentional about what you want your life to look like on a day-to-day basis? That is an act of self-hate, my friend. Be picky and take pride in it, girl. Listen, I know it can be so scary to communicate, but at the end of the day, if you don't, the other side of the situation is it's gonna build up so much resentment, and you're gonna lose him as a result, because he might be doing all of this unintentionally and not knowing, and if you just communicated, maybe he would fix up. Because of course he wants to keep you, and of course he wants to please you and make you happy, and if you're like, hey, can you treat me in this way, or I'd prefer if you did this, or I'd like our date nights to look like this, then at least give him the chance to do that for you, because you are gonna try and be the nice, easygoing girlfriend, and you're gonna suffer as a result. You are going to resent him over time, and you guys will never be the same again. So we are now diving into the situationships. I covered situationships a lot in my past Girl Talk episodes, so I've only included one question, okay? Because I'm sick of it. You guys should know how I feel about situationships by now. This question is, how to not get into situationships? I'm all for this, okay? Because I really want to erase any existence of situationships in 2024. And my answer to this is, give him a consequence. Because otherwise, what really is motivating him to put you into a relationship and give you girlfriend status? This man is putting you into a situationship, and you are allowing it by still giving access, by still giving your time and energy and effort and love and affection. Make it make sense. Like, otherwise, why would he change? Be intentional about what you want, okay? I want you to have the kind of attitude of the kind of girl who wouldn't be caught dead in a situationship, because ew, why would I allow myself to go through that treatment? From the first few dates, this man should be so intentional about making me his girlfriend. He should be upfront about his intentions, and just in case he's not, you're gonna bring it up and you're gonna communicate, because regardless of how uncomfortable it might seem, you are gonna do that favor for your future self so that you don't waste your time. When I was dating, not only my boyfriend, all of my exes, I would be so upfront in the beginning. You could see through my behavior and the way that I acted that I didn't even have to say it in plain English that if you don't make me your girlfriend, I'm gone. Like, if you think you're gonna get all of me and have me in a talking stage and wonder what we are, like, I'll actually laugh in your face. Like, truly. This was the most common question I got, you guys, which is how to know if he really likes you, paired with the second most common question, what should I do if he's inconsistent with communication? My answer to this is simple. You will know. If he liked you, you wouldn't be asking me this question. You wouldn't be stressing. You wouldn't be second guessing his every move. You would be so 100% sure, I promise you. Because he should be wanting to text you all the time. He wouldn't be leaving you undelivered for hours. He wouldn't even dare to be inconsistent with his communication, because you would be his dream girl, and he would be fighting to try and earn you and have you as his girlfriend. If you are worried that, well, why isn't he asking me on a date, or why is he acting like this, or why isn't he being affectionate, he does not like you enough. Stop making excuses for it, because there are people out there that are going to make sure that you never go to bed unsure, uncertain, in need of reassurance, and not even confident enough to ask for it because of their behavior. Because guys, remember when I said that I dated an emotionally unavailable man? Of course I shouldn't have dated him, but when I communicated that he wasn't showing up for me, he wasn't making me feel good about where we were, I wasn't sure if he liked me, even this emotionally unavailable man got on his knees. I was sat on the sofa, he got on his knees and he read all of the list of all of the things he admires about me and likes about me and why he wants to keep dating me. And he was emotionally unavailable, and he still did that. So please, I mean, don't date emotionally unavailable men, but it just goes to show, okay? I rest my case. Chapter number 2, dating advice. This is where I'm going to talk a little bit about healthy relationships, how to improve your relationship. And question number 1 is very on theme. How important is Valentine's Day for a relationship? Do gifts matter? And ideal dates, right? Let's talk about gifts. Gifts, I'm easy on. However, I think Valentine's Day is so important. And certain low effort people are going to try and manipulate you into thinking you're wrong for thinking that by saying, but every day is Valentine's Day and every day you should give effort to your partner. 100%, okay? 100%. But here is why my argument is perfect. Firstly, yes, you should be putting love, affection, all of that effort into your partner, but every single day, our capabilities on how much of that we can pour into our partner are limited. We have school, we have work, we have uni, we have responsibilities, we have chores, we have other people to be there for, we need to focus on ourselves as well, right? Every single day you got to be there for your partner, but only to a certain extent, because you're also trying to get through your day. Valentine's Day is the one scheduled day every single year. Restaurants are doing things for you to spoil your partner. There are sales for you to get gifts for your partner. People are posting videos and articles on ideas on how you can spoil your partner, whether it be at home or out somewhere else. It is the one day a year, and even if it falls on a work day, everybody schedules it for that weekend, right? It is the one day every single year which has a complete focus on your relationship, on your love, on your partner. And if someone is looking for an excuse to skip that day or be low effort on it, that says so much. Like, you can't even book a dinner. You can't even scatter some rose petals in our house and cook me dinner. Think about it. Question number 2, how can I tell if he has a provider mindset? This is such an amazing question. Obviously, a lot of the times people will say stuff like money, you know, if you pays for the date, and that is a telltale sign, but I'm gonna give you some signs that have nothing to do with money. First sign, is he leading the date? By this, I mean, is he opening the restaurant door for you? Is he opening his car door for you? Did he come and pick you up? Did he drop you home or walk you home? Is he pulling out the restaurant chair for you if you're on a dinner date? Is he making sure you're walking on the right side of the pavement? Is he leading you, doing the directions? Basically just trying to make your life easier. Another sign is if he is constantly trying to bring solutions because his priority as a provider is to make your life easier. So an example of this is I had a little issue with my apartment. I was really stressed. I didn't know how to fix it. I was just like casually complaining about it on the phone to my boyfriend, but I was figuring out how I was gonna overcome the problem the next day. He said, no, he was like, you're not gonna do anything. I know exactly how to fix this. I'm gonna come over tomorrow. I'm gonna fix it. He came over, he fixed it. And the same goes for literally anything. If I am inconvenienced by something, he will come up with a solution for it. If I'm stressed about something, he will sort it. I remember I was planning my birthday dinner and I didn't know how to fix it. He goes, no, you're gonna sit back. I will plan the entire dinner for you and all of your friends. And he did that. He literally did that. He called up all these restaurants. He made all these reservations. He then presented me a list of what do you want to choose? And then I'll pay the deposit and you can go and I'll tell you what music they have, what food they have, and then you can figure it out because it was stressing me out too much. And that is a provider, whether it's big stuff like that or day-to-day things. You know, let's say you're on a date and your feet are really hurting. It's the type of guy that would run into a store to buy you flats so that you are comfortable walking home. It's the type of guy that if you are cold and even he is freezing, he gives you his jacket. Another thing is he just wants to do small things to make you happy all the time. So even if you guys can't see each other, it's stuff like, let me Uber Eats you dinner, you know? Let me call you to see how you're doing. Let me get a flower delivery to your door. You know, there's no excuses. He's always trying to do something, even if distance is keeping you apart. And the last sign that he's a provider is that he really takes care of your feelings. And what I mean by this is, let's say it's Wednesday and you guys are calling and you're just saying, you know, I have this problem and I'm feeling really upset about it, and he gives you advice and he's just listening and he's just trying to help you through it and just be there for you. By Saturday, he's called you again to be like, hey, remember that problem? I know you said you're okay, but are you actually okay? Do you want to talk about it again? He remembers these things. He wants to check in on you again to make sure that you are feeling your best, and he's going to provide that comfort and care to you. This links into our next question. 3 things to look for in a man before thinking about getting into a relationship with him. So 1, I would say those provider mindset things that I just said. 2, his lifestyle. You are not just getting into a relationship with the person and the qualities they bring to the table, but you need to start observing his life. What are his values? Is he a lazy person? Does he value exercise? What kind of food does he eat? Is he a homebody, or is he going to be out and about wanting to explore the world with you? Does he like traveling like you do? How does he spend his weekends? You know, are you up and about at 6 a.m. hustling, going to work, and is he waking up at 1 p.m? Because that is an ick, okay? Just because he's a nice person and he treats you right, a misalignment in lifestyles can actually be a huge red flag, even if he is a good person. I would also say really observe the conversations and whether they fulfill you. And then the last thing I'm going to say is his relationship mindset. I sneak this into like first dates and stuff all the time, where I'll just ask like, you know, and how do you feel about this? I'll be like, oh, I found this video on TikTok where people were having this debate about pays on the first date, or who does this, or how soon is it to do this in a relationship? What do you think about it? And it's really easy, like no stress way of gauging his opinions on things without sticking it on him and saying that you need to do this for me when it's the first date. And I think it's really important to figure out what somebody's values are when it comes to relationships, what their opinions are on certain things, so you can make sure you're aligned and you know exactly what kind of relationship you are about to walk into. What questions do you ask on the first date? My go-tos are a lot about like family, friends, nothing too personal, just kind of gauging once again what his lifestyle is, how close he is to these people. It doesn't necessarily have to match what your relationship is to your family and friends, but I think it's good knowledge to know. A lot of questions about his lifestyle. How do you typically spend a weekend? Because remember, you're not just being with him, whatever his lifestyle is, you are going to eventually be leading and living that lifestyle if you're with him. So I feel like that's really important. Like, oh, like, what's your ideal morning? Or like, ask him cute, deep questions, you know? Don't feel embarrassed by it. I've always done this on first dates. Stuff like, what's your perfect day? Or what is the number one holiday you'd want to go on? If you could live in another country, what would it be? It tells you so much about a person, how adventurous someone is, how someone would want to spend that time with you. This links into another one, which is goals is a really big thing for me. So, like, did you set any New Year's resolutions? What do you feel like you overcame last year? And some people might find that too intense for a first date. I personally don't, and the people I've asked it to didn't. But deep conversations like that, talking about goals and ambitions, is such a huge part of me. Why the hell should I shy away from asking somebody about it on a first date? If you're going to be scared of me asking that, then you're not the right person for me. The kind of person that would answer that on a first date, that's how I know that they're my person, because that means they value that type of conversation as well. At what age is it good to start dating? At what age should you be in a relationship? Should I date as a teenager? Should I date in university? Listen, it's completely up to you. People do start when they're teenagers. I would say like 16 is a good age. Before that, in my opinion, is a bit too young, but people do it. And you know what? Everybody's life path is so different. I don't think you should compare yourself to what other people do and then judge yourself against that and think, oh my God, I did it too young, or oh my God, I did it too late. Do what feels good for you. If you are 16 and you want to date, great. If you are 27 and you still don't want to date, you do you. At the end of the day, you need to put your happiness first. If you really want my opinion, mine is, I think a great time to start dating is university. You're a little bit grown. It's a great time to experiment. You're also just around so many people. And I don't think you should take getting into the perfect relationship straight away that this is the person you're going to marry so seriously, because you are young. You're still, you know, you're doing your education. Dating is such an important part of figuring out what you want in a relationship. And that's why I can understand why people start earlier. You date different people, you go through breakups. That's a normal part of it. It's nothing to be ashamed about. You should embrace failed dating experiences because it teaches you what you want. I really think your early 20s is the best place to start, because if you're dating someone as a teenager, the guy can't necessarily provide for you. It is going to be like a 50-50 relationship. If that's what you want, that's great. But if you watch my videos and you're like, no, I want the princess treatment, I would say read a little bit. Next up, chapter number 3, everything to do with self-love and singlehood. Let's get right into it. Number 1, how to not feel sad about being single, how to not feel bad about being alone in a friend circle, and on Valentine's Day 2. A partner is not the equivalent to happiness. And we really need to kill this narrative that being single is a bad thing. If you're single and if you're alone on Valentine's Day, that automatically equates to sadness. No. You define what happiness means to you, and it is never another person. It can be whatever the hell you want it to be. It could be getting out in nature, it could be traveling, it could be working on your hobbies, being creative, it could be actually working on your career, on your passions, it could be interior design, it could be reading, it could be learning, it could be going on walks, it could be self-care, it could be spending time alone. And if you're not intentionally choosing and prioritizing time on what things do make you happy and what your purpose is, of course you're going to equate it to another person to fill it out for you. Now let's reframe my perspective on being single real quick. And also I'd highly recommend you watch my video, How to Be Happy Single, on my channel, because it will change your life, I promise. Singlehood is a gift that could be taken from you at any moment in time. Because imagine, right, you're sitting there right now, imagine you meet your soulmate tomorrow and you guys end up getting married, and then that's it for the rest of your life. That's amazing. I love that for you. You're gonna get the rest of your life being a wife, and you're never going to experience what it's like to be single ever again. You're never going to experience what it's like to put yourself first, have all of your time, effort, energy, resources all to yourself. Honey, be selfish and love every single second of it. Every single day gets to revolve around you. Do you know how exciting that is? You need to take advantage of it. You need to start being so grateful for the fact that you're single, because you don't know how much time you have of it left. Also, if all of your friends have a date on Valentine's Day and you don't, let's remember that other people's journeys are not automatically better than yours. It all depends on the narrative that you are feeding to yourself. I know people my age that are getting married right now that are millionaires my age. 2 goals I both want in my life, 100%, especially the millionaire one. I'd love that right now, but I don't envy them. I'm not sad that I don't have it and they do. I'm still gonna get it, and I know it's coming to me, but it's coming to me on the timeline that I need it to be, because my life is tailored according to my needs, not somebody else's needs. If somebody else needs a date this Valentine's Day, that's on them. Those are based on the lessons that they need in their life and the life experience that is set out for them to become the version of themselves that they are supposed to be. And your life is laid out in this way for you to become the best version that you can be. You're not supposed to have a date this Valentine's Day. You're supposed to sit with this discomfort and feel comfortable with yourself. A lot of people actually don't get this privilege and opportunity that you are given right now. What can I do for me this Valentine's and a bunch of other people ask for Valentine's Day? So many ideas, I love it. Okay, so my favorite one is to go out for dinner on Valentine's Day, like on the 14th, in a busy restaurant, for a lunch date, for a dinner date in a romantic restaurant. You know why it's my favorite? Because it's the most awkward thing you can do, and I love it because it really increases your confidence. Like, to be sat in a restaurant and every other person there is a couple celebrating Valentine's Day and you're the only single person there. Do you know how terrifying that is? And I've done that, I think, for 2 years. I vlogged the experiences. You guys can check it out on my main channel. If you just type in tamkaur Valentine's Day, it will come up. Of me just, I took myself on a museum date one year. I did a lunch date in a restaurant. I did like a really romantic restaurant as well. Another year for dinner, I went to the cinema. I did like a whole date day. And yes, it's a little bit awkward, but it really allows you to see you get to do whatever you want in life, and who gives an F what anybody else is doing. Yes, everybody here is in love. So am I with myself. But if you're not quite ready for that yet, another thing you can do is go to a drive-thru. I actually did this when it was COVID lockdown and I wanted a solo date on Valentine's Day. This was actually my first ever Valentine's Day. Oh, I vlogged this as well. It's also on my main channel. You can watch it. I was like a fetus in that. Went to a drive-thru, super simple. No one's really gonna see you. Another thing you can do is write a letter to your future self to read this time next year on Valentine's Day. How cute, super easy. Speaking of easy, budget-friendly at-home ideas, cook yourself a nice meal or order yourself your favorite takeout. Pour some Coke in a fancy wine glass. Sit down, watch your favorite movie, watch your favorite series, relax. You can go out and book a spa day. You can have a spa day at home, buy a quick face mask, have a bubble bath, really take care of yourself, read a book, do some meditation, do some aromatherapy, bake a dessert, make chocolate covered strawberries. You have to do that this Valentine's Day. The thing you can do is be super creative. You can go out into a park and do some painting. You can do it at home. If you type in on TikTok candle art, that's a new thing. If you have some candles lying around at home, super easy, super cheap, but really fun, and will really get your creative juices flowing. By being creative and completing a task like that, you are also hacking your happy hormones. So you're doing yourself a massive favor there. Museum date, go shopping by yourself, treat yourself to some new makeup, some new skincare, buy yourself a new dress, buy yourself some lingerie, even if you're single, because you deserve to just know that you're feeling sexy on the inside, even though no one's gonna see it. Love that for you. Or just journal. Like, this is such an amazing act of self-love. Journal about how far you've come from the previous Valentine's Day and where you want to be next Valentine's Day and how you are feeling in this present moment. Okay, the next two questions kind of link together, so I'm gonna answer them together. So one person asked how to avoid attaching our happiness to a man, and somebody else asked how to be selfish and not chase anyone. First, you need to attach your happiness to yourself. Basically, you need to become the master of your own life, where you recognize that you are responsible for your happiness. Now, bear with me because this is a little bit hard to explain. Basically, I'm at this point in my life where I realize that I am my happiness. Like, the reason I'm so happy is because of me. And it's because I live this way. Every single morning I wake up and I kind of talk to myself, sometimes out loud, sometimes in my head, okay, don't judge me. And I wake up and I'm like, okay, what are we gonna do today? Based on my energy levels, what morning routine do I wanna do? Okay, not gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna walk. Okay, I'm really feeling tired today, I'm gonna treat myself, I'm gonna buy myself a matcha, I'm gonna get myself some flowers, okay? Then I'm gonna come home, I'm not feeling about getting into work straight away, I'm gonna watch a little bit of TV. Okay, I have to go to this work thing, I'm gonna pick out a really nice outfit because I know I'm gonna be feeling myself when I'm strutting out through the street, okay? I'm gonna have a really busy day, so what night routine is gonna make me just like look forward to it the entire day and just set me off on a really nice and just sleep really well because I really took the time to do all these things in the evening that made me happy. Essentially, it's about getting so intentional about your day and not just going with the flow and doing your responsibilities. And therefore, of course, you're gonna attach your happiness to another person because you're not giving it to yourself. So of course, it automatically equates to attention. No, it's not attention from a man. You're gonna give yourself all of that attention and love by taking so much attention with how you plan your days and your weeks, because only you know what it really takes to make you happy. And when you know all of these exact answers and then you're incorporating them into your day, some man texting you, hey, what's up, is nothing. And then in terms of like not chasing anyone and not being selfish, I would say you need to start being in competition with yourself. So every single day, my intention is to do something that means when my head hits my pillow that night, I'm gonna feel so satisfied with what I did. So like set myself a challenge of I'm gonna try and speak to someone today, I'm gonna try and do that project that I keep putting off, I'm gonna try and do a Pilates class, I'm gonna try and learn something new. If you go into every single day with an intention like that, your perspective becomes so tunnel vision on you and how you can enrich your life and become the best version of yourself. Your mind isn't anywhere else on, let me text this guy, why am I undelivered? Oh my god, that guy is really cute. Oh my god, he's an F-boy, but he's really handsome. No, you're not thinking about any of that. You're only thinking about you. I think this really boils down to just becoming so tunnel vision on building your dream life, I have an entire episode on this on my Self-Obsessed podcast, which you can listen to on both Apple and Spotify. It's episode 9 of Self-Obsessed podcast, how to build your dream life, and I give you a step-by-step guide. And when you are trying to incorporate all those steps, it's a long process. Your attention ain't gonna be anywhere else, trust me. The next one is a dilemma, but for the self-love girlies, and I love this because it's so relatable to me. And this girl says, sometimes I feel good with my solitude, but some days I just want to cuddle with a man. Help. I feel you, sis. Don't feel bad about it. Of course you want a relationship, of course you want a date. That is such a healthy part of you and your desires, and I love that for you. However, if you've made yourself a promise to be in your solitude, to focus on yourself for a while, you're gonna sit with those feelings. You're not gonna beat yourself up for feeling them because they're absolutely normal, but you are gonna put your logic first, and you're not gonna allow your discomfort to completely erase any discipline you have and then go and chase that temptation. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna get the cuddles. It's only a matter of time. But if you have told yourself, I need to be in this place of my life right now, yes, these uncomfortable feelings will come and go, but people go through uncomfortable feelings every single day, and they have the self-respect to sit through it anyway. Do you really think I wanted to be sat here filming a video at 11 o'clock at night? Guys, it is 11 p.m. at night. I've been up since 6 a.m. this morning. This felt uncomfortable to do. I am so tired, but I'm doing it anyway because it serves my higher self. It serves my purpose. It serves my long-term goal of being consistent and getting the job done. And you need to treat your self-love and growth journey the exact same way. It's an investment. You are investing in yourself. It's the long-term journey, not the short-term pleasures. Should you be fully healed before entering a relationship? The answer is yes and no. You can't be fully healed because healing and confidence is such a lifelong journey, and you shouldn't deprive yourself of love and relationships, because by dating, you learn by doing, essentially. And you need to have those experiences to grow through them, to discover different parts of yourself, which only your relationships with other people unlock. So you shouldn't deprive yourself of that. However, in my opinion, there's actually a bare minimum standard when it comes to your healing journey of like what your bare minimum should be that you should complete before you get into a relationship. And this basically means you don't need to worry about being perfect, but you do need to work on a few things, and here they are. Firstly, you need to get rid of your insecurities of things that lead you to believing certain things like he can't go out partying, he can't have female friends. That is such wounded feminine energy. If this man genuinely loves you and you have trust in your relationship, which is a bare minimum in itself, you should never feel the need to control a man. The second thing you need to master is detachment. So not using somebody else to fill a void in your life, realizing that you're going to be good regardless. People come into our lives for lessons, and loss of another person does not mean that you need to lose yourself as a result, and that somebody else's actions do not define your worth or your value or what you deserve in relationships or in life in general. The third bare minimum healing thing you need to do is to remove any past relationship wounds that you are carrying into new relationships, because it is completely unfair to bring these insecurities, traumas, and fears you have from how other people mistreated you into your newer relationships. You need to heal them, do some shadow work, go to therapy, and really understand that there are so many good men out there, and there's so much abundance and love that can be given to you and that you deserve, and that certain things you put up with the past are bare minimum, and you are allowed to think bigger and dream bigger than that. And then I would say the last thing is to work on your confidence levels, which I have an entire guide on my YouTube channel as well, and your self-love, to be able to maintain your own life outside of him. Because you or him, if you guys are making each other the center of your universes, that is a recipe for disaster, that is a recipe for resentment, that is a recipe for absolute soul-destroying pain if you were to break up, which is always a chance. And you know what? This links into detachment. You should be okay when you are in love with someone, you're in a relationship. I need you to accept this might fall apart and this might break up. I don't want it to. I'm not wishing for that. But if it does, I'm going to be okay regardless. And that protects you, because you are so healed and you are so full of self-love that you recognize, if this isn't serving me anymore, and if this isn't aligned with me, I don't need you. And that brings us to the last chapter, chapter number 4, homework, because I want to give you guys some cute little tasks that you can carry out throughout the month of February so that you can treat yourself and really engage with your self-love this Valentine's Day. Number 1 is to organize yourself a solo date. It can be at home, it can be out, it can be completely free, whether it be journaling. I have, like I said, so many vlogs, examples of me doing this, literally spending Valentine's Day alone. So go watch them for inspo. Task number 2 is one day this month, just have a self-care day. Really just live slowly, take a break from just putting pressure on yourself. Third homework task, optional. Write a letter to your future self to read on Valentine's Day next year, and then put an alert in your calendar for February 14th, 2025 to remember to open it and read it. The next homework task is to set yourself a goal to overcome an obstacle that you're currently experiencing before March. This can be to become more self-obsessed, to become more confident, to learn detachment, to watch one of the YouTube videos that I've referenced in this video so that you can overcome one of the things that you feel is preventing you from actually getting what you desire, whether it be self-love, confidence, or a healthy relationship. And this links into the next homework task, which is go to my podcast Self-Obsessed. There are episodes on how to master your self-perception, how to master feminine energy, how to have the right mindset when it comes to dating, how to build your dream life. Listen to one of them so that you can start becoming the center of your own universe. Focus on yourself, start chasing your success and your growth rather than somebody else. And finally, the last homework task is let that boy go. And that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, comment down below, let me know what your favorite dilemma or question that I answered was, because I'd love to know. It was so fun being here. I absolutely love doing this series. Comment down below if you want another one. I would love to film another one. And remember, I actually asked all of these questions on my Instagram, so go ahead and follow that so you don't miss out on when I ask any other questions for future Q&As. Have the most amazing week. I will see you guys same time next week on Friday for a brand new video. Bye. I appreciate you.